Okay, I believe we can start. So, welcome everybody to a new episode of the Falco Community Call. Before we start, just some friendly reminders. This community call follows the CNCF Code of Conduct, so please be kind with each other. And I want also to remind you that this call is recorded. So if you don't want to show your face, just turn off your camera. Last thing, please add your name under the Who Joined section if you haven't done it already. Okay, and now let's start with the highlights of this week. I believe the biggest highlight of this week that you already know is the new release of Falco. Falco 0.31 is out. We called this release the Falcon. I don't know if my pronunciation is correct, because Falcon are the largest species of falcon. And this release is very, very big. You can find all highlights about this release in our blog post that I wrote with Jason de la Lucia. Maybe Jason, do you want to add something about this release since you were the release manager?
First of all, just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone that was involved. I personally received a lot of help, and especially from Leo, but also for all the people that shadowed during the release. I'm talking about Thomas and Terrell and many others. So thank you everyone for all the support. This has been a big effort from this community, I think. So the blog post kind of covers all the featured highlights. Mostly the plugin system is the biggest one. So from now on, basically Falco is ready to host plugins and you can start using them. We did the honors by launching the CloudTrail one, and everything is in place. We still need to work a little bit on an optimal way to deploy them with the, we updated the Helm charts, but we kind of have to do some more work about how the Helm charts have to be redesigned to be plugin native, let's say. But we are in a very good place. This morning, I also closed the cat release, the tracking issue with all the steps, completing the last few ones, which were releasing the gRPC clients, falco-exporter, new version, and the adapted Helm charts with the new configuration and new rule sets. So this is mostly it, basically. So if there are any questions, any curiosity, I'm here to answer them.
Yeah, for who doesn't know already, basically the plugins allows to extend Falco to other sources, not just, and in this way, we can extend Falco not only to the runtime security, but everything that you have in the cloud.
So again, what's great about this, if you don't mind me kind of getting a second here, like I love the fact that we also have SDKs for Go and C++. So anybody wants to get started, exactly. There's that, and then what we're doing going forward from the community and in general is, hey, it's practical ways of how to create some of these plugins, so folks can like go and use those as an examples for extending and creating things for other cloud providers out there, like Oracle Cloud, for instance, or like GKE or others.
And we also have a plugin registry to allow other plugins to cooperate with your plugin. You should register your plugin here. It's basically you have just to open a pull request in this file. It's very, very simple, and you can host your plugin everywhere, but if you want, you can also host your plugin directly in this repository. Just open a pull request and the request that you want to add your plugin, and the maintainers will evaluate your request. Currently, we have the CloudTrail plugin, the JSON plugin that is just an extractor. It's just needed to extract some information from from events that are in JSON format. And we have also two very simple plugin that are used just for development. They are called dummy. They are just example. One in Golang and another in C. That plugin authors can use to start from, or to just take a look, or to understand how plugin works. I believe this is everything about plugin.
Yeah,
we're gonna need a bigger. We're gonna need a bigger Falcon, everybody, because this is it's the biggest release I think we've ever done. So sorry to cut you off, fellas.
No, I just
do you have some funny image about? I think, yeah, this is the Jar Falcon. Okay, we can use this time. Sorry if I interrupted someone. Please go ahead.
Yeah, no. Another interesting thing is that there are plenty of examples, even in the SDK Go, which is, I think, now the most exciting language to work on for this feature. And really, writing a plugin is a matter of like writing a few lines of code. I think the extractor plugin there is the most minimalistic one with, I don't know, 30 lines of code or whatever. It's so easy and so powerful. So try this out, you all.
And if you have any questions, obviously anybody who's looking at this, we're, you're in the channel. Let's we really want to make sure everybody has a good experience with this. Or if we need to, address this as a community, that's why we're all here, is we're learning together, right? So that's a good thing.
And by the way, it's true that it's really, really simple, because if you look just at these two functions, this extract plugin basically adds this field to Falco. Okay, of course, it's just an example. And the way to implement this new field it's really simple. You have to declare the field and then implement a function to return that value. It's really, really a bunch of line code. Okay, you can find here other example, of course. Okay, I don't see any other topic. I believe the floor is open. Someone want to talk about something or just present themselves? Feel
Any
free.
New folks on the call? Would love to, say hello to everyone.
Yeah, I'd like to say hi here from the Oracle team side. Nice to meet you all. I mean, I had a great conversation with Pop a couple of weeks ago, and just to give you some details, I'm Director of Product Management at Oracle. My team drives the Cloud Native Computing Foundation program in the Developer Service Organization, and also some open source enablement activities. That's why we're here. So Falco is one of the projects that we would like to be more involved with, help you guys out, and potentially start with a Falco plugin for the Oracle Container Engine for Kubernetes, or OK on our side. This is the goal for my team. And I invited a couple of PMs, product managers in my group, who are kind of like driving some of the discussions with the open source community. So Adal Jr. and Tim Graves. They're also Oracle employees who will be kind of like involved with you guys. And we're super happy to be here and looking forward to collaborating with you more.
Yeah. And I have a request. I run a internal meet. So I work for Gilson, but I run an internal Oracle meetup where we ask people with new and interesting external projects if they would come in and do an hour-long sort of meetup style session over Zoom. If you would be interested in doing a meetup session on that, we'd really like it if you would be able to do that. I'm not expecting an answer now, but if somebody would like to volunteer at some point, please let me know, because we'd be delighted to have that, have you present it. And that's basically, we normally get between 40 and 60 people from within Oracle turn up, and about the same looking at the replay across the pre-sales and engineering teams.
Once we see your first PR, we're ready. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, trust me, you probably wouldn't want to run you wouldn't want my code. Maybe the documentation or bugs, but yeah, I could understand that.
No worries. No worries.
Okay, that's great. Okay, that's great. Of course, welcome to our community. I don't know if there is someone that wants to talk or just have some question. Thomas, do you want to talk about something?
No, not yet. we have to discuss about plugins again. So if you have any idea about plugins you would like for your own project, for your own system or whatever, please communicate it into the main channel Falco in community Slack, because maybe some other people are already trying to do so, just to avoid conflict between people.
Exactly. That's a good that's a good thing. Indeed, I want to let you know that I mean some maintainers and someone from the community are already thinking and working how to refactor the current implementation of the Kubernetes audit log that currently basically it's embedded inside Falco. We want to refactor it to make a plugin. Of course, this implementation right now is 6 because it was implemented before the plugin system, and we want to work on that. And also, I'm pretty sure Thomas wants to extend this implementation not only to the Kubernetes audit log, but also to the Kubernetes audit log that you can fetch from AWS or EKS and other providers.
Yeah, I can say a word about that. We noticed this is obvious, but in case of Amazon, I know well Amazon. I was an Amazon expert for years, so I know their product. But for a lot of their services, the logs are stored in the same places, inside S3 or inside CloudWatch logs. So if you want to create rules for Cloud Front or load balancers logs, you have to gather logs from the same place. So this is the same mechanism. So our idea behind was to create, us or the community can do so, and it would be lovely, create some shared libraries. For now, I think in Golang, because this is the most common language for that kind of stuff, but shared libraries to allow people to easily integrate in their plugins authentication to Amazon API. The way to scrap logs from CloudWatch logs, from S3, with some to implement the same pattern, like what to do when we are at the end of file. Do we continue like a stream, or do we stop the collect, etc., etc. All this stuff is, I don't know, 80% the same in all plugins which concern Amazon stuff. But this is the same pattern for Azure, for IBM, for Oracle. I think the way to authenticate is always the same, and the way to grab logs or metrics, metric is always the same. So we want people who would like to create new plugins to be only focused on logic for their plugin and not the stuff around. Hope it makes sense for everybody.
Yeah, I agree with that. And in general, since the plugin system is something new, I want to invite you to share your feedback, especially in the channel. Okay, if you, for example, tried a plugin or just wanted to write a plugin because you need that, or just because you want to try this system, please share your experience in the Falco channel. It will be really valuable for us, because for sure something needs to be improved. We need your feedback to improve this system.
Yeah, I endorse that, especially for the fact that the documentation is in place, but it's still in the making. And I'm personally taking care, I mean, this morning I took care of kind of updating it. So any kind of feedback about what's kind of ambiguous or hard to understand is very welcome, because that will help me and the others to update the documentation and make it better for everyone. So reach out if you have any.
Exactly. By the way, sorry if you will find some inconsistency in the documentation right now, because there is something that needed to be fixed, but I believe it's normal for us in future. Okay.
I wanted to add something that we missed from the release. I mean, this is a big feature for me, which didn't shine as much as the plugin system, but it's worth mentioning. It's from the optimization that Federico took care of implementing, and which is like the simple consumers one. Basically now we used to ignore some sort of system calls in Falco after they came out of the ring buffers, basically. And with this optimization, we are able now to drop them or ignore them right at the kernel level, which basically means in big systems, less contention of the ring buffer, and eventually a better drop rate. So for anyone that had problem with drops in the past, this release may solve a lot of your issues. Thank you, Federico, for this.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Fede. By the way, I believe that Federico was the contributor with the highest number of pull requests. I'm not sure, but I think it was Federico. So
And the lowest number of lines.
It's not true. It's not true.
Just last one point about
Go ahead.
plugins. Plugins are ready. You can try them. You can start to contribute to them. It's great. But if you want to play with them, I mean, if you want to install them in your Kubernetes clusters, the Helm chart is not already ready for that. We are working on it to deal with the best way to install Falco with plugins, because like maybe you know, but when you are running a plugin, the Falco will stop to collect syscalls. So we have to deploy in the cluster a daemon set for syscalls and different instances of Falco, one per plugin. This is particular behavior, but we have to deal with that to be sure to install correctly Falco in multiple instances. And the Falco for plugins will need no privileges because they don't have to scrap syscalls.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, when Falco is used to instrument your operating system by using syscall, it needs a driver. And the driver can be either a kernel module or a BPF prop. In that case, Falco needs full privilege. In all other cases, Falco is a normal user space program, so you don't need to run it with full privilege. For example, when you use it with a plugin or only with the Kubernetes out-to-log as a data source. I want just to underline this because maybe someone doesn't know it yet. Okay, if there are no other topics, I would like to call it a day. Just maybe the last thing, someone want to volunteer to be the next MC for the next community call?
Zolt, come on, man. You're up. Huh? What do you think?
Yeah, not the next one, but the week after I can do that. Next week I'm traveling. So
All right,
Okay.
Not to put you on the spot, but
no, it's okay. No worries. I can do that. But not next week, the week after. Okay. You can put me on there. Hello.
I don't know. I don't remember who don't did it already. Maybe I don't know. Who wanted to do? Nobody?
I can do it if nobody is volunteering.
I can do two if nobody. I just want to see someone new. Don't be shy. Yeah. It's not really difficult. It's just a matter of start the call. Okay. Maybe we can decide in the channel. It's not an issue.
1 week
for now, I just wrote Thomas and or Leo GR as backup. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
You too. Bye. Bye.
Bye.